So I just wanted to do a quick video on my collection of BCGs, the order that I've bought these in, because it's been kind of a little fun tinkering project to, use some of the Springco springs to change out the bolt ejector springs. And then on some of them, like the BRT, I actually changed out the chrome extractor that it has because that's really slippery, and I ended up swapping it out with the BCM extractor. And those BCM kits come with the 5-coil spring, new gas rings, and I don't change all of those, but I have a little book where I'm keeping track of all the modifications that I make to each one. For example, this is my very first BCG. And one of the first times that I modified a BCG, you could see I have the Sotar cam pin. You can even see I have the JP Enterprise head, or bolt, I mean, which does not pass the gas ring test. If you've watched School of the American Rifle, then you already know that these ones have a special type of gas rings which does not allow it to pass the test, where most other bolts do pass the gas ring test. This was my second BCG. This was a Sons of Liberty. I also modified this one and put a Sotar cam pin. I put the OKS fasteners in here, Springco ejector springs in the head. And then the next BCG that I ended up going with was an ADM. This is the first time that I had issues with a high end BCG, and I had to figure out that this was really bad. This causing it to get bound up on the bottom rail. I dremeled it. I tried to get a hold of customer service, but they're just non-existent. So I ended up having to fix it myself. Swapped out the fasteners, Sotar pin, same thing. I did all the upgrades on this one as well, and then I had to do some dremeling to smooth it out. Then we started moving up to the big boys, the real big boys. LMT. This one actually, the gas key came loose on me, and I have the OKS fasteners on the LMT BCG, and this one has been solid for the most part, other than that gas key coming loose. And then obviously with the Dremel, I did that just so that I can distinguish it from my original one, even though I'm sure there's other ways to do it. Just at a quick glance, now I know this one is my LMT bolt. Then we have the Centurion arms. This one was perfect. This one was milled so nice, and the staking was done so well that I didn't even change the fasteners yet. Ejectors are really good. I didn't change the springs on this one. This one was just a really nice BCG. Then there's this one, questionable. I wanted a chrome BCG, and you can see just how bad if you look on the inside of the carrier, you can just see so much machine marks, which doesn't have any it doesn't do performance wise, it's not going to affect the BCG. However, this one, similar to the American Defense, I did have to let me swap these around so I know where I'm at. Similar to the American Defense, I did have to do some milling on the very bottom of the BRT, which is kind of a shame, especially when you're spending this much on a bolt carrier group. And it also had the MP3 extractor, which you don't really want something smooth for the extractor, so I went with the phosphate extractor from BCM. And so this one's good to go now. It's got all the little upgrades, springs, Noveski. This one is probably, other than the Centurion arms, I was not really a fan of these nitride finishes, but Noveske and Centurion arms have really changed my mind, because these ones are really smooth, easy to clean, and truthfully, these ones are smoother even than this chrome BCG, and whatever kind of finish BCM tried to do here, finally. So of all of these bolt carrier groups, the three that I had to modify the most heavily was the American Defense, probably the most, then BCM, and then the chrome bolt carrier from BRT. This BCM came rough. I did another video of it, and I did fix it myself rather than sending it back. I just figured, you know what, these are things that I can fix myself. I thought, you know, you paid a lot of money for that, maybe you should just send it back. But then I thought, you know what, my brother would just say, just fix that shit, you know, you got the tools for it. So that's what I did. I just fixed it myself, because it had some really rough edges as well on the bottom too. So I did fix that. And I don't recommend you doing that unless you're confident with yourself, and you trust yourself. I kind of know what I'm doing now at this point, and I've done a lot of dremeling, and you know, I'm no armorer or gunsmith or anything like that, but I could tell you that I am confident in my abilities to do so, and so I was able to fix those three. I don't recommend, again, that you do that unless you know what you're doing. A good source is School of the American Rifle. I highly recommend that channel. That's how I figured out how to modify these, what the measurements should be, and I know that my American Defense BCG is a little bit more on the short side. But once you really know how to play with these things, you really could start modifying them with some of the BCM kits, as well as different heads. So I have a Noveske bolt, sorry, not head, bolt, to replace if one of these should go bad. I highly doubt it. These are all high quality, minus my very first one, but I did already swap out the bolt with a JP bolt. So I think all of these are going to run great in all my rifles, and there's still a few more BCGs to review, but for the most part, you could start modifying your BCGs. I really love this LMT one. This one's probably one of my favorites, but then I also love the Centurion arms. And now that I fixed the BCM, this one just looks really good. This one looks good. Haven't really spent too much time firing this one, but I know that these ones are all solid. From here, these ones I need to spend a little bit more time with.